Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 77 of the best sports show out. You watching Highly Opinionated. I'm your co-host, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, the best co-host in the game, my guy. What's up, JG? How you doing, brother?
Josh Ross, what's going on with y'all, man? Happy Monday.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same. It's a Monday, brother. It's definitely a Monday in the neighborhood, man. Hope all is well with you. Had a great weekend?
You'll be all right, man. You'll be all right. I had a fantastic weekend, man. It was a great game. It was a great set of games going to the Final Four. Yeah. I mean, it don't get no better than like the last game of the weekend. Just cap it off the way that we did. You know, we're talking about that's the way you start the week. That's the way that you start the week with a game like what we just seen and a finish like we did. But we'll get more into that in a minute. But I'm having a fantastic Monday. It set me up. I'm about to have a great week. I only gave it rain all week. I'm having a fantastic week.
Yeah, I bet you are. Ladies and gentlemen, want to introduce the most important man on the show. We missed his great face last week, ladies and gentlemen. The editor, the producer, the guy that makes us look good with no makeup. What's up, Ross? How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you feeling, Josh?
I'm here, man. You know, I'm here. I'm just here. I'm a glutton of punishment. You feel me? When your team lose, you feel me? It's painful. You feel me? It's the first time I had light in my crib in like 36, I had like 24, 25 hours. I had lights on.
Are you using sunlight? Are you using sunlight or actual like lights in your house?
No. After that Duke game, everything was off. Like everything was off. I cut everything off. I mean, you walk past my crib, you would have thought I ain't paid the bill or something. You feel me? So everything was off. I had to cut it off, man. Yeah, I had to cut it off. If I could cut my phone off, I would cut that off, but I couldn't. You feel me? So,
oh man,
Ross, man, we missed you last week, brother. The show, you make the show what it is, brother. So great to have you back on the screen, my guy.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for watching episode 76. Shout out to our guest we had on Daquan. Great guy. Can't wait to have him back on the show. We look forward to you guys watching episode 77. We have a great guest coming up, the great Kyle Wise. We look forward for you guys watching that interview. A lot of fun, a lot of banter, a lot of great times in that. So, as I say every episode, you guys make Highly Opinionated what it is. You guys is support. You guys is liking, following, subscribing. Whatever you guys do to support the show, truly, we're humbled by it. We're grateful for it. And you guys ever want to come on the show, this is the place for you. Ross, let them know where they can follow us on our social medias.
Yes, sir. Y'all can follow us on Instagram at Highly Opinionated __. Follow us on TikTok at Highly Opinionated _SS. Follow us on Twitter or X at Highly O_SS. And of course, you're already on YouTube, so make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Yes, again, comments, like, subscribe means everything to us. You disagree with us, you want to come on the show and debate with us, rumble with us, this is the place for you. JG, you know, I usually ask you, are you ready to get an episode started? But I know you're ready to get this episode started. You've been waiting to talk about this episode for like 24 hours, bro. So let's go and get the episode.
I couldn't wait to get home from work to start this. Let's go.
Yeah, I know you couldn't. We will get to that momentarily. We're going to start Highly Opinionated off differently this week. Let's start off with it's time for the best segment in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's edition of Let's Talk About It, the Major League Baseball season started last week. The Los Angeles Dodgers started the season. They're currently 3-0. The Milwaukee Brewers are 3-0. The Miami Marlins are 3-0. The Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees are 3-0. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 teams that's 3-0. 3 in the NL, 2 in the AL. JG, there's been a lot of talk about are the Dodgers destroying baseball with them, you know, being a quote-unquote super team. Is baseball going to end? Are they going to have to invoke a salary cap? Your thoughts. I know you love the Dodgers. Your thoughts on your LA Dodgers, and to furthermore about the Dodgers. Simply put, will the Dodgers win 3 in a row?
So, as you mentioned, yes, I am the resident Dodgers fan on the show. Of course, everyone wants to blame the Dodgers. You know why? Because that's what happens when you win. When you win, it's lonely at the top. Everybody wants to hate you. Everybody wants to knock you off. Everybody wants to make up all this stuff about, oh, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Like, it's not good for the game. Baloney. It's great for the game. You need a villain. You need a bad guy and a villain in every sport. That's what makes the game interesting. Because you know what? Figure out how to knock off the villain. If you want to be the man, beat the man. If you want to be the hero, beat the bad guy. Nothing wrong with being the bad guy sometimes. That's exactly who the Dodgers are. They are the prime evil villain, the final boss that everyone hates. And that's because they win. I mean, straight up. Like, now this whole notion now, there is a lot of talk about a potential lockout coming here, you know, within the next, after this season. You know, the current CBA of the MLB is expected to expire on December 1st, 2026. So it's looming. And one of the big problems is the disparity concerns. Like, there's a push for a cap. The push for a new cap is driven by the high spending teams like the LA Dodgers, whose high payrolls have increased pressure from smaller market teams to change the system. Now, a little bit of detail. The Dodgers have deferred a lot of money. Shohei Ohtani has a $700 million contract. $700 million. A lot of that money has been deferred. So it's not coming into the bankroll right away. You notice, to give a little bit of insight here. And that's something that every team can do. You know, they can do what the Dodgers are doing as far as, you know, deferring some money and everything. But yeah, you can talk about how small market teams may not have the same kind of cap space as a New York, as a LA, whatever these high market teams are. We see the Mets and how much money they spent on their team. You see the Yankees and their payroll. So yeah, in every sport, the high market cities are going to have more money because that's just how it's always been. Now, you can try to, you know, level the playing field, so to speak, but the truth of the matter is, if you ain't got the guys, it don't matter. Sometimes you got to pay the players that you have. See, a lot of teams have great players. They draft great players, but then you don't pay them. Is that on the Dodgers because your team doesn't want to pay their superstar? I've seen plenty of teams with great players on their teams, and they chose not to pay them. Chose to trade them. Chose to let them go, and then they happen to end up on the Yankees. They happen to end up on the Dodgers. They end up with the Cubs or somebody else. Somebody that's willing to pay that great player the money that they're worth. So you're going to get mad at the Dodgers because like they chose to pay the good players? Because I'm here to tell you, if you want to win a championship, you need good players.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the name of the game here. Like, you need good players in every sport to win championships. So, of course, the Dodgers are an easy target because they're the back-to-back champions. They're in the running, the favorites to win the third straight, and I think they will. So it's like, hey, of course you're going to blame the Dodgers. Of course you're going to be like, they're ruining baseball. They're so bad for the game. Like, it's just a bunch of whiny fans that are just so pissed off because their team can't do it. They don't have great players, or they did have good players and let them go. So now they're pissed off and whining at the Dodgers because they have good players. Just picked up Kyle Tucker, who's off to a great start for the Dodgers. Fits right in. But you know who you want to blame for this right now? Blame the Toronto Blue Jays. And you know why?
Why?
Because they had the Dodgers dead to rights last year in the World Series. They were up 3-2, up in Game 6 at home in Toronto. They had them. They were done. It took a great play for involving Kike Hernandez and Pages in the left field to catch an out. They ran into each other and somehow made that play. If they don't make that play, it's over. Let they lose.
Yeah, seriously.
And then the Blue Jays are having a parade, and then all of a sudden, all this Dodgers talk about dynasty and ruining baseball might not be as loud as it is right now. But blame Toronto. They're the ones that they had a chance to win it and silence all of that. They blew it. That's not the Dodgers. They took it. The Blue Jays gave it back to them. So all this stuff about, ruining baseball, it's a bunch of whiny fans who are all pissed off because, their team sucks and they're not going anywhere. Like, and I don't want to call my city's team, Baltimore Orioles. I do wish them success. I do want them to do well because it's great for the area. But every now and then I come across a few fans that happen to be Orioles fans that say the same thing, like, Dodgers are ruining baseball. How could you cheer for them? I'm like, it's easy. We're winning.
Yeah. One thing I learned about people like winners. They don't like losers. That's crazy. I know that's crazy to think like that. Like, who likes a loser? Who likes a winner? We all want to be around losers. So everyone wants to win, no matter in life, no matter what you're doing. We want to win on this show. You feel me? Yeah. So you want to put your best effort forward. I disagree with you on blame the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm not blaming the Blue Jays. Yeah, they could have beat them, but the Dodgers were going to get Kyle Tucker, whether they beat the Blue Jays or they lost to the Blue Jays. You know how this works. Free agency. Yeah, JG, I'm interested in your services. You have to want to be interested in coming to me for it to work. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's how it works. So it's not like the Dodgers just was like, okay, yeah, money matters, but Kyle Tucker wanted to have to, he had to want to come to Los Angeles. So for me, where the same fans that's talking about the Dodgers running baseball, but they talking about the Yankees doing it in the late 90s when they won 3 in a row? No, they weren't. Like, it was great. It was the evil empire. You just have you had the evil empire on the East Coast. Now you have the evil empire on the West Coast, the LA Dodgers. I love what the Dodgers are doing. I love watching them play. I think right now, I would say they're the favorite. I'll give you 3 teams that I think could possibly give them some challenge in the playoffs or via World Series. But the Dodgers are great for baseball. Every sports league needs a villain. I'll give you an example. When Shaq and Kobe was on the Lakers, they were the villain. Like, as much as I think of Tim Duncan never played on a villain team because he didn't have that type of personality. The Dodgers had personality to go along with being talented, which makes you the villain. When LeBron went to Miami,
God,
they became the villains.
Were the villain.
Yeah, the villain. When Kevin Durant went to Golden State, he became the villain. He became the villain. So sports leagues need this. In the NFL,
Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes,
Kansas City Chiefs. You need that. Back in the day, Tom Brady, you need that. So, or you'll get players that play, or you'll get in the WNBA. If you look at the Las Vegas Aces, they loaded. You feel me? Like, loaded. So you need villains. You need teams. You need teams in leagues where teams can compare themselves to. Okay, this is the standard. You might, like, for example, the NBA, OKC is the standard. They're the champion. You feel me? How can we get to dethrone the champion? So I think what the Dodgers are doing is great. I thought what the Yankees were doing. Look at the Mets. The Mets got a high payroll. You feel me? Like, you have to win with the payroll that you're putting out there. Hopefully Juan Soto, he left the Yankees and went to the Mets a few seasons ago. Hopefully the Mets can get their situation together. Yeah. As far as who I think can beat the Dodgers, if I had to in the playoff series, I know they starting off slow. I know the Phillies are 1-2, but I'm always I think Bryce Harper in the playoffs, we saw what he did in the WBC World Baseball Classic. We know what type of postseason player he is. And I'm looking at, I know I'm starting off with 2 teams that's 1-2, but I think because I think the NL West, the Dodgers are going to win, but I think San Diego can give them a run for their money just because they're familiar with them. You got Machado, you got Tatis, you got some guys on that team that, you feel me, that know how to play and can, in a series can be the best player in any given series. In the AL, I'm looking at the Yankees. I'm looking at the Blue Jays. I think those 2 teams. We obviously saw. Hopefully, we get another great World Series with Toronto and not. It doesn't have to be Toronto and Los Angeles, but hopefully we get another great 7-game World Series. That World Series last year in LA and Toronto was just amazing. But I think Toronto and the Yankees are the 2 best teams in the AL. Watch out for the Boston Red Sox. I think they'll get better this season. You mentioned the Orioles. The problem I have with the Orioles is that in AL East that's a bloodbath. Toronto, the Yankees, Boston. I know the Devil Rays are trying to they're not the Devil Rays no more. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays trying to get their situation together. I think the AL East is the best division in the American League, and I think the NL East is the best division in the National League.
I agree with you with a bunch of the teams that you mentioned. San Diego, they're always a pain in the butt. They're a pain in the side of the Dodgers every year. Like, whenever we see them, it is a bloodbath to get out of that series. Like, honestly, there have been years where I thought San Diego should have beaten the Dodgers, and they somehow got snuck out of San Diego with a win. That's how good that playoff series always is. So I'll never sleep on the Padres. They're right down the road there. I'm in the California, so I can definitely see them being a problem. I'm not sleeping on the Blue Jays and them getting back to the World Series. I think they're just as good this year as they were last year. Boston's pitching has improved a lot since last year, so they'll be the team that I think a lot of people don't see coming, and don't be shocked if they're like one of the top teams in the AL. Yankees are going to be.
My bad for cutting you off. I love Boston. I love Alex Cora. I love that manager just because he got that DNA. He was a player, he was an analyst, and now he's a manager. If I'm not mistaken, he was in Houston.
Yep.
So and then obviously got out of that, got replaced out there and went to Boston. So I know what Alex Cora represents, and I know Boston is going to be great in the margins. They're not going to make mistakes. They're not going to have too many errors. They're not going to beat themselves. You're going to have to beat them. And as the season progresses, as it gets warmer outside, I think Boston. I think the Red Sox going to make the playoffs. I think they'll be a wild card.
I can definitely see a wild card for them too. And obviously the Yankees are there. They're going to be there. Judge is not going to out to kind of a slow start. That's not going to last. He's too good of a player. Juan Carlos Stanton, him being healthy this entire season is an X factor. He historically has not been able to stay on the field, but when he's out there, he's still one of the better players in the MLB that kind of gets forgotten about in that rotation. So look out for the Yankees still. And there's one more team you mentioned, it's the Phillies. The Phillies, I think, have the most pressure to get it done this year, because I think that this is the last year with this current nucleus of a team that they have before that ends up being kind of being tailored off and broken off a little bit. So Bryce Harper, the guys in Philadelphia, this is probably your last chance ability to do it. And the Phillies they're good enough to beat the Dodgers. I want to put that on Front Street. They are good enough to beat the Dodgers from top to bottom. So this is a matter of, again, assuming good health, assuming that they play up to their abilities. Philly will challenge LA as well as the Padres, but a lot is going to depend on health. But for Philly, this is kind of your last big chance before this team starts to break off, due to age, contracts, cap space, whatever you want to call it.
One more team I wanted to mention, the Seattle Mariners. They had, I know Kyle Riley was second in MVP in the MVP voting last year. But last year, Seattle won 90 games. They had the third best record in the American League last year. Toronto won 94, the Yankees won 94, Seattle won 90. So I want to see if Seattle, if they're going to keep that going this season. You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think Kyle Riley, a great season last year, obviously, for a catcher. Catchers don't normally hit that many home runs, but I remember, back when I was an Orioles fan, way back in the day, there was a guy by the name of Chris Davis. He had an amazing season. I think he had like 50 or 60 home runs almost. And it was just weird for like a first baseman to have that good of a year. And the Orioles dumped a bunch of money into him, thinking that he's going to do this again. He literally was nowhere near the same after that season ever again. Mm-hmm. Like it was just a straight nosedive. And we later found out, I guess, there was performance enhancing drugs involved and stuff like that. Not in any way, shape, or form trying to accuse Kyle Riley of that, but I just think it's abnormal for a catcher, as great as he is. I think it's a little abnormal for a catcher to have back-to-back high leverage home run seasons. So I don't see that happening he'll be good. I think Seattle will still be a good team. I just don't think Kyle's going to do what he did last year. I think he's going to tail off a little bit. And because of that, Seattle may see less wins than they did this year.
Yeah, I think Seattle, they obviously had the bat of Kyle Riley, but their pitching really stepped up last year. And that's the one thing I'm questioning this season is, can that pitching be at the level they were last year or even be better? If they're better, then Seattle can be a threat in the AL. But if their pitching dwindles off, and you know this in seasons where there's NFL basketball, what you were great at last year could become a weakness this season. What you were weak at last year can become a strength this season. So I want to see, again, it's early. The baseball season started a week ago. I'm seeing, very early, make predictions very early just to see games, how they are. But I want to see if Seattle's pitching can live up to what they can be, what they were last year or better. Because if they are, then they'll be in contention. If they're not, Houston's in that division. And don't look now, the Angels, Los Angeles, Anaheim Angels are playing well. I know it's early, but they're playing well. Mike Trout, looking good so far, so early. Looking good so early so far this season. So, should be a great baseball season. No better place to have it covered than here on Highly Opinionated. We'll definitely get more into baseball as more into baseball even than what we were last year. We'll talk about the All-Star game. We'll do different things, home run derby, stuff like that we didn't do last year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is brought to you by Edibly Airy. Enjoy the heightened experience of THC edibles in a whole new way. At Edibly Airy, our freeze-dry edibles available in 100 milligram, 200 milligram, 300 milligram, 400 milligram will give you the buzz you crave with a flavor you won't forget. Available in 3 different flavors: watermelon sunset, tropical fruit, in Berry. To place orders, please visit the website at ediblyairy.com. While you're there at ediblyairy.com, use a promotion code. You guys see the promotion code on the screen? $ Highly Airy, $. Again, $ Highly Airy, $ for 20% off your first purchase. Follow us on IG at Edibly Airy for new product releases and monthly hookups. Must be 21 and over to purchase. Edibly Airy, the best freeze-dry edibles out. Go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we have a special guest, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Another gentleman that should have been on the show a long time ago. I'm surrounded by Calvert Hall's finest. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for my guy. Highly opinionated. Welcome to the great Kyle Wise. How are you?
Thank God.
You're doing great. You're doing great, man. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, but like I said, man, I've been looking forward to it for a while. So,
man, we appreciate you coming on the show, brother. Obviously, we'll get into your playing days with JG in a second, but like I said before we got on, man, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you being flexible. Kyle, just FYI, when we went to Calvert Hall together, bro, you was always an open book. Whenever I needed a question, I could come to you and trust you, give me the right answer. You know, not everybody in high school and not everybody in life feels that way about people. So you was always good to me, brother. So again, man, always wanted to extend an open invitation to you, brother. Appreciate you for coming on.
of course, man, I definitely appreciate that. And I was just going off the energy you was giving me, man. I just remember, you being super cool. Anytime you did come to me, it was I wanted to answer your question or guide you in the right direction. So that's just a kudos to you.
I appreciate that, brother. I feel like good energy matches good energy. That's what all three of us share on this screen. So, yeah, man, once again, thank you very much for that. I wanted to start. My first question is, we'll get to your basketball in a second. See the lovely hoodie you got on. We all about self-promotion on the show. DJ K Wise. Tell us about DJ K Wise. Tell us how you got into becoming a DJ. And before you answer that, I just want to say this. Watching you play high school, playing as my co-host called you, the point guard, it's a seamless transition because you ran the show in high school like you run the dance floor at the party. So the floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, so I mean, you hit it right on the head, man. I relate everything to basketball, but DJing to me is like my new basketball. So the transition was seamless. I actually started DJing in college, like the end of my freshman year. Really just because I was always that person who I want to find a new music and I want to like put those around me onto the new music. And people realized that they appreciated it. So when we would go to parties and the music was like, iffy, they would always be like, oh, let KY get on the aux, like let him get on. So that's why I like started to dibble and dabble in it. And then I started that was probably, like I said, my freshman year, my sophomore year, people started asking me to do their parties. And I was doing all this for free. I wasn't even thinking about like, having my own company or DJing for, professionally. I was just doing it because I like doing it. And, I could tell people was having a good time. And then my sophomore year, that's where I really like started liking it. And like you said, that feeling of running the show, like when you want a court in front of a crowd, that's the same feeling, except it's just me. And that's why I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like I can pull a plug and people are going to stop and look. Not that I would do that, but it was just like crazy kind of, controlling the atmosphere of a room and a group of people. So that's why I like started to like it. And then my junior year, I continued to do it. And that's where, like, as far as basketball, we were rolling. So the best parties, and I know John can tell you this, on campus are after the game. So it was like we would, I was playing, we won the game, and then afterwards, the party, and I'm the DJ. So it was just a lot of fun. And we, my senior year, we had like a basketball house. So that's where I was like every Saturday, we would, after the games, that was the thing, throwing parties. And that was, like I said, that's why I got started in college. And then I would do it for friends and family, like, special occasions, because they knew that I had a good ear for music. And it was never a thing of me like, oh, I want to be a DJ, or like, it was people telling me like, you're talented in this, like you are good. And this one guy, I was on a trip. We were on a boat in Miami for one of my friend's bachelor's trips, and they gave me the aux, and we was just riding around Miami. The I don't know what you call it, the water down there, and this guy was like, "Yo, you got a gift from God that you just not sharing with the world." And I didn't know him. Like, I just met him, and I was like, dang, when you put it like that, I feel like I'm not using, something that is a gift. So after that, I started doing it professionally. I invested in equipment. I took a class to actually get the science of it down as well. And then just took off from there.
Gotcha.
Man, it's two things, man. I remember a quote from The Dark Knight. The Joker said this: "If you're good at something, you never do it for free." And that like stuck with me for a long time. It's real. Like, yo, if you're good at something, why are you doing it for free? Why are you not sharing it with the world? Why are you not trying to profit off it? So like, that's what you're supposed to do, man. And then number two, I was never the guy in college that people handed me the aux cord. In fact, I'm pretty sure I got it ripped away a couple of times. If y'all follow me on Instagram, y'all know my music is all over the place. But I remember the last time I tried the aux at a party, I'm pretty sure like 10 seconds in, I got it taken away. DJ was not my future. DJ was not my future.
Yo, the aux is a lot of pressure, and it's so funny because like, music is also something that, I mean, everybody listens to some type of music. It's a language that everybody speaks, but it's also attached to, well, like for me, and I know a lot of people's songs bring up certain memories. So you remember the first time you heard a song, or you attribute a memory to a song or artist or music. And I can vividly remember, John, I can't remember when it was, but I know you had a party at a hotel one time. So every time I hear Soulja Boy, I think about that time at that party. And I just remember, like, I was like, John is the man. Like, you was because I ain't dance. That's also why I DJ too, because I'm not dancing.
I was the guy. I was the dance. I was the guy that got on the floor and like the first guy dancing on the floor. It's my 16th birthday party. I remember.
Yeah. I remember that vividly. But like every time I hear that song, that's the first time I think I was like, man, John going across the.
Was it Crank That?
Yeah, Crank That song. Yeah, you. I'm in there just looking like man. It was a nice party too. I remember that, but
I need video footage of that.
Ain't no video evidence of that. No way.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
This before like any social media, before anybody like was recording on their phones. Back when we actually enjoyed parties and actually talked to you, like we worked on our phone all night long. But yeah, that was it's funny you bring that back. It's like Reggie Reg, like, and what's crazy, you remember if you in Baltimore, you know who K Swift is. That was one of K Swift's like last parties before she passed away. It was just crazy. And it's like whenever I think about that, it's like, damn, like I remember like everybody talked about K Swift, the legendary DJ, as we all know. That was literally one of her last parties before like her unfortunate accident. So that's, I mean, for better or worse, that stayed with me because one, it was a good memory, but two, like it kind of just a little sad because like I remember K Swift and everything. But yeah, man, like that was me. I was the not the guy who would DJ the music, but I'm more of like the guy that gets the party started, dancing and everything. Everybody got their own. That was me. But okay, obviously, you know, I love everything you said about just picking up DJing like it's basketball. I mean, first of all, it's something you like to do. I mean, a lot of people can't say that, you know, they're doing something and they spread it around, you know, different people and everything. And it's something they love doing. So right there, that's important. I want to know more about your company, K Enterprises. Like, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Wise Enterprise Entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah. So, It's my company, DJ. I mean, I provide DJ services and music entertainment for private events. That consists of mainly weddings. So I do about the past 4 or 5 years, between 20, 25 weddings a year. It's not including baby showers, bridal showers, of course, birthday parties, graduations, family reunions, anything, retirement parties. I've even done a funeral reception before, which actually was not what it was like. They was partying in there, which I was. they were like adamant. It was like, we're not trying to be sad and crying in here. Like, we want you to turn it up, and it was like a club in there. But yeah, all private events. And yeah, it is something I love. So it's when you said that quote, it's hard for me to like sometimes, not, I wouldn't say realize what I'm worth, but people tell me like, you should be charging this and you should be charging that. Like, really, if I'm anywhere, like anywhere out, I want to be playing the music. Like I'm and if I'm not, I'm gonna be kind of critiquing. Like, I don't care if I'm at a game, a party, a restaurant. I'm gonna be like, like, what's going on in here? Like, well, why did he play that? Why should he do that? So it is something that I love, and that's why, like, before I never really thought of it as a business until enough people told me, and the right people said, like, nah, you should really take this serious. So I mean, I love it, man. Like, music is everywhere, from your everyday life to the sports. I pay attention to what songs are cutting in or cutting out when the commercial goes, like being at the games, listening to the DJs in the arenas. I pay attention to all of that. And yeah, I love it, man.
No, that's what's up. And nothing wrong with critiquing a DJ when you're out. I do that all the time. Like, whenever a DJ decides to put on Taylor Swift, I just look right at the DJ. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? No one wants to hear
it. We love Taylor Swift on this show. We love Taylor Swift. Shout to Taylor Kelsey. That would be it, right?
You really don't like her.
Is she keeping her name?
That's a good question.
She probably gonna do the hyphen.
Probably a hyphen. I thought of that. Taylor Swift Kelsey. That's definitely unique. Kay, just listening to you talk about DJing, man. Again, congratulations on finding your passion. It sounds like, again, like the love of DJing. You would not saying you would do every gig for free, but you love it so much you just want to do it. And that's like going back to your basketball example. People that really love to hoop, like, they'll hoop for free. Like, Michael Jordan probably will hoop for free. I mean, it helps that he made money, but he will hoop for free. LeBron, I think he will hoop for free. KD, hoop for free. Steph Curry, hoop for free. I think, like, when you have a passion for something, i.e. this project that we have here, like, we doing this because we want to get out here. You feel me? We love to do what we do. So it's nothing wrong with doing something that you love. And then if you're good at it, like you are, and like we're trying to be, the money will be there. The monetary goals will be there. You feel me? The monetary value will be there. So congratulations on, again, finding your love and finding your passion. It's hard for people to find, like JG said, it's hard for people to find a passion once they stop playing sports.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to find that balance, especially like professionally, you playing, whether you overseas or, in the NBA, NFL, whatever league, major league you in the United States. It's hard because you got to go back. Now you got to go do something that you weren't used to doing. You feel me? So once again, congratulations on that. Where can people find you? If they want to book you for a DJ gig, where can people find you at? On Instagram, Twitter? Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, Instagram is DJ KW15E. Also, if you want to email, DJKWise15@outlook.com. I'm also on, it's an app called Thumbtack. So that has like all my pricing for different types of events. And that's, you just type in Wise Enterprise Entertainment and I'll pop right up. I don't really like to toot my own horn, but it is all 5 stars if you look at the reviews on there. So
Okay.
Go ahead and tell him, bro. Go ahead and tell him, bro. It's all 5 stars up here. Go ahead and
it's
tell him.
not something like I said that I just was like, man, I want, because it's people like that. Like, I just want to be a DJ, or like, nah, this was something that I kept hearing, like, yo, like, I'll do this, or I'll pay you if you do this party, or like, why are you not, why you don't have a business, or why you're not, charging people this or that or whatever. So because they saw that I was good at it.
Good, man. Make sure you guys hit them up on Instagram. You use that email address that he said if you're looking for a DJ. The best DJ that we know, man. Hopefully this interview, hopefully this time on this show can get you at least one person, hopefully more than that, but at least one person interested in you DJing, and you show how great your skills truly are, my brother.
Of course, man. I appreciate it. And if anybody does, I would, hit me up sooner or later. I'm kind of almost booked out until next year. So
okay.
Yeah.
Y'all heard that, right? We at the end of March in 2026. This guy just said he's booked out through the entire year almost. Yep, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, that shows how great you truly are, brother. Keep up the great work, man. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
You and JG played basketball at Calvert Hall. What was it like, you guys being teammates on the same team?
So first of all, me and John been playing together, or have been playing together since we were like 7, 8.
I want to say at least 8 years old, maybe.
Yeah, like 8 years old. So one, I was just pumped, just going into Calvert Hall, because like we played at AAU together, we played rec leagues together, worked out together, and like picking up a high school is a whole lot of politics, a whole lot that goes into it, especially if you're getting recruited.
Yep.
And I was just pumped, like it was my man's, like somebody that I knew and played with and knew that game going into it, who's going to be there with me, hopefully for the next 4 years. I was excited. Like I was like, we're going to be nice. I was looking forward to it, man. And then the actual journey going through it, like, I was always, I felt like we always had a chance, even when we were one of the younger teams in the league, because I felt like with, him at the center, not the position, but I'm just talking about like of the team,
I got you.
and the focal point, we find enough people around us to be competitive and to win. And ultimately, the goal was to win, at least a championship in 4 years, which we did. But it was fun because it was like playing with a childhood friend, with your childhood friend.
Absolutely. Hey, JG, before you go, I just want to say this because obviously I never played with you guys. It was cool with you guys. My time at Calvert Hall. So me walking into that school and looking at varsity, like when I walked in, y'all was a sophomore. I'm a year younger than y'all. So y'all was sophomores, I was a freshman. Y'all were already on varsity. So I'm like, whoa. I'm like, damn. I'm walking, I'm like, you're like, damn, okay. And then like you like watching y'all play, and then I tried out my junior year. So Kyle, I'm 5'4". Like I'm not sticking John. That's barbecue chicken dessert. Fuck alert. So like I'm sticking Kyle. So yeah, I'm sticking. And like when I say this, like I mean in the basketball sense, like I got to breathe the same air as you. I got to play against you. So I'm like, okay, like I'm measuring myself up against this guy. You feel me? Like, and then like the other guys at Calvert Hall, like obviously you guys added D. Lee, Damian, added him later on, but y'all had Sean Holmes, Don Ye, oh my God, I'm thinking my man, can't think of his name, Billy. Y'all had the guy that y'all had Daryl, rest in peace to Daryl Augustus. You feel me? Y'all had so many guys that could just hoop. Cam Cook. Y'all had so many guys that could just hoop and then develop and got better. So when y'all won that BCL 2009-2010 season. I was the most happiest for you. Again, me knowing John personally I know how much he wanted it, and I could tell y'all, the whole team wanted it. You feel me? So I'm glad y'all got that championship. Y'all, I know y'all couldn't. I know y'all couldn't rest without it. I know like y'all was wired. Y'all was just wired differently. Being around y'all, being that. I'm gonna call it the table, but y'all know what it was. The table. You feel me? Like y'all really wanted that and needed that validation. You feel me? And I'm just happy y'all got it. Mount St. Joe wasn't easy, and St. Francis wasn't easy. Y'all, I was always going to be compared to them.
Yeah. So, John, before you jump in, so we actually both played varsity as freshmen.
Yep.
So, what you're saying, like we really wanted it. It was like sometimes it was pressure to like if we hadn't won, it'd be like, yo, y'all had 4 years and y'all didn't win a championship. So it was like that's why like John remembers this obviously, but all of that emotion came out. It wasn't even just from the team after winning the championship, but like fans from the last time we won a championship from the 90s, 80s crying at Loyola after we won because it was like a long time coming in. It was kind of like the way they was building the team and we was adding those pieces, like you said, with Donye and Damian. Like we should at least get one, in that time span. So, but yeah, man, I love those guys, all the ones that you mentioned. I love that team from, playing with John and like you mentioned, Damian, Donye, Cameron, Billy, all of them.
Yeah.
Sean,
Let me give a shout out to y'all, Coach Chu, John Boswell, assistant coach, Coach Wood as well. You feel me? I feel like they should be credited as well. Obviously, head coach and assistant coach. You feel me? So the players want it, but you got to have good coaching. As a Duke fan, I would touch this later on in the episode. Coaching matters. You feel me? So yeah, you gotta have the right coaching in the right situations to win the games. You got to win. Go ahead, JJ.
Oh man. Let me tell you about this guy right here. Like I said, been my favorite point guard of all time, number one. It's like I played with this guy since I was 8 years old. He got me so much better as a player, just from the aspect of how to play with a guy that can pass like him. Because he already was a great passer. We're like 8, 9 years old. He's passing like he's Jason Kidd out here. I'm like, well, and I had the worst hands. Bro. I could not catch the ball. Like I would think he's about to shoot, dumps it off to me, and then I fumble it out of bounds. Like 5 straight times. And he looked at me like, bro, I'm about to pass it to you. I'm like, all right, I gotta get my hands better. Like, so over the years, I finally got better at that. And like I got to know Kyle's game. And he just made me so much better. And that's what a point guard does. He makes everyone around him better. Kyle Wise epitomizes that. That's why I call him point guard. Because he made everyone better. We aren't winning a championship without this guy right here. And everybody you mentioned, Cam, D. Lee, Donye, defensive player of the year, in my opinion, that year, because he was a lockdown defender out there on the wing. Maybe the best players in our league. And we had some elite talent during those years. But there was no way like we could leave. They have 4 years to get together. I had to get one. I wanted to get one for Kyle because I knew, what the work he put into it. And and me personally, you know me, I couldn't leave Calvert Hall not having a championship, man. I would have felt that would have been a hole that I still would think about to this day. And I'm sure Kyle can attest to that as well. But kept running into that damn St. Francis, that damn Mount St. Joseph, who my freshman year, like it was between Calvert Hall and St. Joe. St. Joe wanted me really, really bad. But the key for me, like with Calvert Hall, is that this guy was going. And I was like, well, I know this guy. I know his game, and I don't have to relearn. Now, shout out to EA, Eric Atkins. He's a pretty damn good point guard, too. I'm still pissed because he stole one of my MVPs, but it's all good. Love you, EA. But knowing this guy,
you sound like Shaq when you talk about Steve Nash. Let it go.
No.
Shout out to Eric Atkins, man. Great guy.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. But knowing Kyle as long as I have and knowing his game, like I knew we would have a chance right there because I had some guys in front of me. I had to get stronger. I had to get more physical because I wasn't ready yet. What am I, 6'6" at the time, maybe 155. Soaking wet because I had no shot playing in like the Catholic League right away. But Braxton Dupree, Kyle Jarzinski, Eddie Haley, our guy. Like, these are the guys that really, like, helped shape me. I needed more toughness. I needed more physicality. If I was going to play in this league, and they're a big part of why I became what I became. But just overall, the team coming together was just like, it was a perfect storm. We knew that, and we always knew that it was two guys we had to get past to get to that championship: St. Joe and St. Francis. And my favorite memory from that, I had back spasms. I had something going. I had Osgood-Schlatter's disease going on my knees and everything. So I just wasn't myself. I was running around like an old man. Like I could barely dunk because like it was just that much pain I was going through. And I remember the Catholic League semifinals against St. Francis, same guys. I foul out. In my head, I'm like, damn, that's really how it's going to end. Like, this is it. Like, this is my last game. Like, I'm going to the bench thinking like, damn, like I tried everything and like this is it. Kyle Watts comes over to the bench, it grabs my head and says to me, bro, I'm not going to let this be your last game. I got you. I'm not going to let this be your last game. It was a Kobe to Shaq moment right there. And they went out there and they did it, man. I was just like, oh yeah, we definitely winning now because like we just did that. Yeah, we winning that. So K. Wise led the charge with D. Lee and Danye, and I was like, we got a team to beat anybody. Even when we were down 16 to St. Joe and going into halftime. And I just remember, JB coming into the locker room saying, look, man, y'all got 16 minutes left in y'all career. What you gonna do about it? He looked at me and said, look, I don't care if you're hurt right now. You got 16 minutes to gut it out. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. If I gotta go to the hospital after this, I'm good. But like I'm gonna lay it out there and try to get this championship. Because I knew my guys were going to do that. So that was like my favorite moment right there in that semifinals game. Legendary moment for K. Wise, let me know about that. Because I was like, you know what? I believe you. And it's like, you think about that. Y'all remember 2001 when Shaq fouled out in the finals. Kobe went over and said, I got you, big fella. It was the same thing right there.
Yeah, man. That was just the emotion of that moment. Like, also, we had never beat St. Francis.
Never beat them. In
the 4 years that we was there.
We came close so many damn games, but like they were just that good. They were just tough to beat. And we finally got one like in our last like couple of games. Like that's how good they were.
Yeah. One of the good things about that, and I attribute this to us pulling it out and then ultimately winning, is all of those guys we was playing against, like we played with too. Yep. In the summertime. So we knew each other's games, we knew their games, their spots, their tendencies. So
we were scouting them while we was playing them. We was teammates over the summer. We were still scouting them like, look, man, all right, I know you're ball.
Yeah, and we played AAU together, me and John. For years.
Yeah.
So that moment was that championship, especially winning it with John, was special. And then, of course, shout out to JB, who actually recruited me to Calvert Hall. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have went to Calvert Hall for sure. And I was just thankful that when after our freshman year, when Tooch announced he was retiring, I was like, we gonna transfer? Is John gonna transfer? Like, what's about to happen? And then once he was,
I'm not because you walk out. Like a lot of people don't know this, man, but like when Tooch retired, there was a real chance that I was going to transfer into Newtown. And like a lot of people didn't know about that because it was actually damn close because like my dad been talking to coaches and everything, and then like, yo, we got a spot for it and everything. I'm like, all right, cool. Like it's about a crib. It was close, but like in the end, I'm glad that I ended up coming back because the rest is history. Because had I made that move, who knows how things would have turned out.
Yeah, man, and that's like that's in my head. Yeah. Like, is John leaving? Like, dang, I came up here, my man's left. Like, because Danye wasn't there yet, and he grew into, BCL MVP, defensive player of the year. He grew into that. Yep. Damian wasn't there yet. He was at Mount St. Joe. So I'm like, if John leaves, like, why did I come? Like, what am I gonna have a chance? Not discrediting anybody who was there, but this was somebody I knew and played with and was like, you know, envisioning the future of building a team with. So shout out to him. And then Jay Wood, of course, shout out to Jay Wood. He's just one of the coolest, like
They was the man.
Helped me like get to another level, not even in school, but like just him working with me as far as like my jump shot, my shot. But when I went to college, he was the main part of that, helping me fix my mechanics. And of course, yeah, shout out to E. I was with E on Saturday in the gym, chilling, both our families. And yeah, that's a funny story too about him telling me about this kid who was coming to Calvert Hall and like, you know, just make sure you look out for him. He's my friend, but he's about to transfer. And he was talking about Damien. I didn't know who he was talking about at the time, but yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, JG, Damien, and Danye, y'all four all complimented each other very, very well. Danye was the defensive. I don't want to say because I don't want to limit somebody to just defense, but he was a great defensive player. He developed his offense over time. Damien, watch him play ball, and then I actually went to driving school with Damien. Nobody knows this. I went to driving school with him, so I got to connect with. Like I've always said this. The thing about I've had the experiences with basically everyone in my life. I've had one-on-one experiences. So you know how some people act different when you're in a crowd, but when you get a one-on-one, you know who they are. Damien was cool at the table, just like he was cool one-on-one. So I got to really experience and be around him, see what he was funny as, he was not funny as, stuff like that, and vice versa. So same thing with Danye, same thing obviously with JG. You guys all complimented each other well. Damien could do the offense. JG was the center. I always say this. He was the center of attention. Yes, like we needed the point guard. We needed Danye. We needed Damien. But if I take one of those four people off the team, y'all don't win. It's just that the team doesn't win. As simple as that. There's no disrespect to the other guys on the team, but y'all four were the main four. You feel me? So you guys played well, complimented each other well, and I was extremely happy for you guys winning the BCL. It brought pride to the school. And listen, y'all know this. When y'all won championships, they gave out Calvert Hall, they gave out the gold jacket. So the football team used to have the gold jacket. I'm like, man, that was man, they sloppy, they dirty. Y'all come out with, I'm like, man, I want one. Like, man, y'all kept them fresh, kept them neat, kept them clean, kept them right. Y'all remember them big ass C patches on them? You feel me? I'm like, bro, like y'all, I really, yeah. So that was my biggest regret. Like, I really regret not making that team. Because listen, I know we can all be on. I'm not all be honest. I'll be honest. Like I wasn't going to play, and that's fine. I just took the gold jacket. I would have made y'all better in practice. You know I'm gonna talk my shit now. Y'all know that. And then after that, whatever happened. Then yeah, you feel me. So y'all guys made it cool. Y'all guys made it cool to want to have gold jackets. So that championship was everything for you guys. Happy that you guys got it. Hey, K-Wise, you mentioned your time at St. Mary's improving your jump shot. Just want to give you a little bit of time to talk about that. Not only did you play there for 4 years, you also was an assistant coach there as well. So just talk about your time at St. Mary's and how that shaped you to the man that you are today.
Yeah, man. So it was that was also going back to JB having a conversation with me because, you know, starting as a freshman on varsity, I was like 13, 14, you know, getting letters from all types of colleges. And, you know, when it came down to it, and JB was, you know, telling me like, even though this is a Division III school, he's like, you're gonna go to the tournament. There's guys there that can play. You're gonna have a great experience. And I really had to trust him because I was like, man, I could, you know, what if I look at some of these D2s that's talking to me, or like, what if I just go to a low D1 who they maybe not have guaranteed me a scholarship, but they've shown interest and been talking to me. So I really trusted him with that. And then going down to the campus and knowing who was actually on the team, it was a lot of Catholic League guys. First of which, Kyle Jarzinski, like John mentioned, he was a senior there He was a senior when we were at Calvert Hall, but he was also a senior at St. Mary's when I got there too. So I was like, oh, okay. Then other guys like Alex Franz, Devin Spencer, James Davenport, and also guys who weren't in the Baltimore Catholic League, but just from Baltimore going down to St. Mary's because it's a small school. Unless you're going to the campus, it's no reason for you to be going down 3 hours away in Southern Maryland. Like, unless you going to Crab or like, there's no reason for you to go down there. So knowing them, and I was like, and I think I said Devin Spencer. Like, I was like, okay, these are like, forget the Division III. Like, I know they can play. Like, I know they can play. If I go there, I'm like, yeah, we probably will be winning. And then when I got there, they told me, one, I was going to be playing behind Alex Franz, who was an All-American. I didn't really know what like college All-American meant. I just knew like I've been starting and playing all my life, and like, what are you talking about? But I knew Franz, so I'm like, yeah, okay, but I'm gonna try to get in there somewhere. Like, I'm gonna take some minutes or like something's gonna happen. I did get some minutes, but he was he was an All-American for a reason. And I knew him from playing at Cardinal Gibbons, and I know he was an all conference in the BCL in high school too. But they told me, they was like, yo, we win every game by like 20, 25. And I'm thinking like, yeah, right. Like, I'm like, what are they talking about? And my first year, it was absolutely true. And the good thing about St. Mary's, at least from my perspective or somebody who's on the team, is, like I said, the location. So it's right on the water. There's a beach on campus. And then they're an hour away from any other colleges or any other pro sports teams. So everybody comes to those games, and that's like the team. Like, it ain't like we got the Wizards or like the Orioles. Like, that's the community's team. So all of those games used to be packed. And when you win in, it just creates a different atmosphere on campus. So it was, my 4 years was, I mean, we won. We won 3 conference championships. We went to the NCAA tournament 3 out of the 4 years I was there. We went to the Elite 8 twice. I wouldn't trade that experience for nothing, because it was I learned a lot about life, basketball. I played my best basketball there. I developed as a player, and I was able to, because it is a small school, be a big fish in a small pond. And afterwards, after my 4 years, I really wasn't looking to play like any type of professional overseas, anything like that. I just wasn't. Like, I knew some people who had and not really had good experiences as far as like whatever country or club they playing for is not trying to pay them. They over in wherever where they don't speak English. And I'm very, very close to my family. So I was like, nah, I can't see myself really doing that. The only thing I could really see myself doing was coaching. And I talked to, so like after my senior year, that spring, my coach talked to me and said, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to coach. So he said, well, you could, if you coached here, there's not a, like with most Division IIIs, it's not like a salary position. He said you might get a stipend or something, but you would have to find a job, a part-time job or something around the schedule. He said, but there's a position in admissions open. And I had no idea like what, I was like, admissions. So he was like, yeah, the admissions office. So like the people who read the applications and decide who gets into college. I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing. But like, because my life had just been all like basketball and being recruited, I didn't really pay attention to that process. But he was like, there's a position, as an admissions counselor where you would go and recruit, but you would also be able to coach. And I was like, well, okay. All I heard was like, you'd be able to coach. I was like, all right. So, and this is how like basketball, even though, I didn't, like I said, play professionally, I didn't go to the league or anything like that, but, playing and being able to, stand out can help you. I'm getting ready for the interview in the admissions office, and I'm nervous because I don't have any work experience. Only job I had was working Calvert Hall summer camp with John just weeks out of the season. I don't have any, like, at least I don't think so, like customer service skills or like I don't like none of that. So I'm like, and I took my classes and things, but that ain't have nothing really to do with this. So I go in an interview and I'm interviewing with the vice president of the college. And I'm like, the first thing before I'm getting to the questions, he's like, Kyle Wise. He said, man, you used to dribble circles around the defense when you was playing. So right off the bat, he knows who I am because he was coming to those games too. So I was like, oh, I probably got this. So then honestly, the rest of the interview, I don't know how it went. It must have went okay, enough for me to get that position and get into recruitment, which like my professional career, my job, so to speak, that's what my background is in. And now, aside from my DJing, my job is I run a IT technology training program for underserved kids throughout Baltimore, the Baltimore area. We help them get professional development training, and then ultimately help them get career opportunities, so jobs, internships, etc. But that all came from that, like me falling into recruitment and me getting that position because of basketball. And then coaching, I mean, I kind of, that was, it was just an extension of me being the captain when I was on the team. So I was actually coaching my former teammates, which was a natural transition. And I kind of, I wouldn't say moved up, but like if I hadn't have been the, played and been a captain and been doing well, I wouldn't have been as like involved in the decision making when it comes to the coaching, because like I graduated and now I'm on the sideline calling subs. Like I thought it was more of a progression. Like, all right, I'm gonna take the stats, I'm gonna do the scout. But like, nah, I'm like in the mix, and ultimately that like it got to a point where I really couldn't do both, because I'm recruiting for basketball, but I'm recruiting just for the school, and I'm the person who reads the applications. So there's like, good job, but yeah, you gotta focus on this. That's like I'm recruiting John, and like, oh yeah, John, like, what's your grades? What's your test scores? He tells me, like, okay, that doesn't matter because I'm the one reading the application anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying that was going on, but that's how somebody could perceive it. So it was like I took a step back, went to practices and did like training and stuff, but that's why I ultimately stopped coaching at St. Mary's.
Gotcha. No, you ain't want the conflict of interest. Just to have it out there. You feel me? I always say, I tell my son this all the time. You never forget solving the problem. Let's not create a problem. You know what I'm saying? And like, you don't want to be messy. You don't want to have nothing around. So your passion of again, most point guards are going to be good coaches or coaching. You feel? I shouldn't say good coaches, depending on what level you are. But most point guards are going to coach just because they're the leaders of the team. So is he like you would tell, like you're going to tell John, I need you to post up, big fella. Damon, cut through here. Danye, cut through that. You feel me? At college, you're going to say, I need you to do this and do that. They're going to listen. You're the point guard. You're orchestrating the team. You're going to, you're the one 9 times out of 10 giving the ball up. So I love the fact, again, getting back to that conflict of interest. I'm happy that you got away from that, got out of that, just so it wasn't no BS. Because nowadays people looking for any and every small little thing to complain about, whine about, and say this and say that. So I'm definitely happy that you got out of that situation. K-Wise, before we get you up out of here, we'll get your thoughts on the NBA season. The NBA season is winding down with about 2 weeks left. Just some teams that you're looking out for, starting in the East, and then you can work your way out to the West.
East, I'm going with Boston.
Okay.
They got the championship DNA. Jason Tatum is back. I wouldn't say he's at full speed, but he's looking good. Jaylen Brown has been holding it down in MVP form. And then all of the surrounding pieces are looking good as well. And then in the West, who I think is most likely going to take it as long as there's no significant injuries, is the Thunder again.
Okay.
They just playing at a different level. They play at a different level. And with J-Dub back, he just takes that team to that next level just with the pace that he plays. I can't remember the last person I've seen play with that, like a sense of urgency all the time. Yeah.
Boston Celtics in the East, Oklahoma City in the West. Go ahead, JJ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, a lot of people were on the New York Knicks this year because they thought that we thought Boston would take a step back. Josh knows this. I own that. I thought Boston would just flat out have a gap year. They were selling parts. Drew Holiday's gone. Kristaps Porzingis is gone. Al Horford's gone. I'm thinking like Jason Tatum's injured, Achilles injury. So it's like, Boston is probably going to take a gap year, get Jason Tatum healthy, get a high draft pick, maybe go get AJ DeBonta out of BYU, come back strong. No, they said, no, we ain't doing that. Here come Peyton Pritchard. Here come Derek White. Kata, who I had no idea who this guy was. He's protecting the paint like no other. And now you're telling me Jason Tatum is back looking like – that's the scary thing is he's not 100%, but he looked like he did the other night against Charlotte. Yeah, it's a problem. So I've been on Boston's training even before Jason Tatum came back because I didn't think Tatum would come back this year because I didn't think he needed to. Maybe just take this season to really get back to himself, but because they were playing well without him. I thought they were good enough to win the championship without Tatum. That's how well I think of the Celtics. But you're telling me the way that this team's playing now, and you got Jason Tatum, yeah, I think the East is. I don't think anybody's going to contend with them. As far as your pick on the West, I don't hate Oklahoma City Thunder as a pick. It's just something tells me about this team in San Antonio that I think is going to knock off OKC. And not saying OKC won't be back in the West Finals. I think they will be, but this is alien from France that just invaded the NBA. That I don't know what the hell you do with them. Like I watched a bunch of his, and normally when you watch the game, you pick out things. It was like, all right, I can get him here. I can get him maybe here. I don't know what you do. I've never seen a player where it's like I don't know what the hell to do with this guy. Like he will dominate no matter what I do. That's Wembanyama in San Antonio, and you got the fact that the Spurs have kind of owned the Thunder in the regular season. You've heard in press conferences talk about how he wants Oklahoma City. So I'm sitting there looking at this team and the way that they're playing. The Spurs are ahead of schedule. I didn't think they'd be this good this fast. Wembanyama himself is ahead of schedule. I didn't see him playing like this now. I thought maybe a year or two get a little more strength on him. No, he's coming for the championship now. And what I love the most about him is that he came on a press conference and said, look, you tell me, I'm going to tell you these three things, and you tell me why I shouldn't be MVP. He's right. So I think that San Antonio will dethrone the Thunder, but I think it'll be in a tough 6 or 7 game series for that to happen.
Now, that is what I would like to happen because I really don't like the Thunder's team. I love the Spurs, but I just don't think they're ready.
You think like from a playoff experience perspective, you think that edge goes to the Thunder and that'll be the difference there?
Yeah. To me, De'Aaron Fox is just a little too inconsistent. It's like he's chilling sometimes too much. He can turn it on whenever, but he I don't know if they figured that that part out yet. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Was J-Dub playing when they beat them all those games?
No.
No, I think he was injured, so that does matter.
Yeah,
I'm trying to like he. I mean, I know he's been out. He's going to be the X factor. Like I said, it was a play when they played the Knicks the other day where he got the steal and he just ran past like four defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know what play you're talking about.
Yeah, like he and they won it. Like
they do.
I do like Shea. I like his demeanor. I like that he lets his game speak for itself. And I like how how confident he is, and his team kind of takes that attitude with him as well. And I think it's like I said, with no injuries, the championship goes through them. Like whoever's gonna get it has to go through them. But I do like Wemby though. He's talking more, like you said. What he said the other day on he wants the MVP. He wants to win. He's mad. He's losing at the All-Star game. Like that's the type of attitude that I like to see, especially out of him getting the criticism. I feel like when he first came in, like he was too cool, like he was too chill. Nah, he wants it, and that's why I like that team. I like the Spurs team.
Now the Spurs, they JG, just to combat your 1 point. Last season, the Boston Celtics were 4-0 against the New York Knicks in the regular season. The New York Knicks beat them in the playoffs. So just because you have regular season success doesn't mean you'll have postseason success. I kind of want to wait to see how the bracket plays out, because I think the wild card that you guys haven't mentioned, I picked them before the season started, and I still think my man the best player. It's hard for me. We can talk about the Thunder, we can talk about the Spurs. It's hard for me to forget about number 15 in Denver. Because that brother, he just controls the game the way he controls it. He can't jump over. He can't jump. Forget jumping over a curb. He can't jump onto a phone book. But he can still dominate the game the way he dominated the game. You feel me? So I think that we got to see where Denver lines up. If Denver's in that 3, 4, 5 seed, that whoever their second round matchup, that's a 7-game series, whether it's the Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think you guys hit the nail on the coffin in the East. Hit the nail with the Boston Celtics. JG, you know this. I never bought into the Knicks. I thought last year was their chance to get to the finals, and they lost to Indiana. Indiana was a good team, but Indiana wasn't great. The Knicks should have found a way to win that series. And you guys know this. You guys played the game at a high level. When the money on the line, your two best players have to play some type of defense. And in the playoffs, we just gonna pick and roll Cat. We just gonna pick and roll Jalen Brunson. We just gonna wear that. We gonna wear that out. We just gonna wear it out. So, by the way, I'm gonna say this: I'm not picking them in the East. Don't sleep on the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, man.
If you don't cut it out with this BS with Philly, they're not going nowhere, man. They're not going nowhere.
Joel Embiid playing good. Paul George just came back from a suspension. He looking good. He got something to prove. And Tyrese Mack, listen, I don't think they're going to win a first-round series because they probably going to have to play Boston at the 7th seed. But if they play Detroit, they could beat Detroit.
Right.
You got to beat Detroit.
I don't think Cade is coming back.
JG,
I do not believe
Is Cade out for the year?
At least till probably like second round.
Yeah, at least to play. At least let's just say he out. All right, Jay. Let's just say this. Let's say he comes back the first game of the playoffs. So he got to work his way back in the. I'm just saying. Listen.
Yeah.
That Philadelphia and Kyle saying he probably won't be back. That's soon. That Philadelphia team, if they get the right matchup, bro, they can beat Detroit in the first round. Not saying that they are.
No, I didn't know that about Cade. So that's a big deal. That changes a lot of things for me. But it's just I can't trust.
I know.
Philly,
I get it. I get it.
We're talking about how many years have we looked at Philly and it's like they can do it, cool. But then something happens. Like it's Embiid, it's PG, it's James Harden, it's Ben Simmons. Something gets in the way. And I mean, and look, I'm not wishing anything bad on. Hell no, I would never do that. But every single year, it's something with Philadelphia that just it stops them from competing, or it's just they're not who you think they are.
Let me just say this: maybe there's something happened during the season. Paul George getting suspended, Tyrese Maxey being hurt.
It always happens during the season.
I get that, but I'm saying maybe there's something this season happened before the playoffs. So you go through adversity. You feel me? I'm not saying they're going to the finals. I don't think they're going to the finals. But no. But I'm saying, I'm like how I looked at Denver. I'm not, again, I picked Denver to go to the finals. I'm just saying a dark horse in the East because I don't trust Toronto. You know how I feel about Orlando. Orlando traded 5 first-round picks, and they seed worse than what they were last year for Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain a hell of a player, but I'm not trading 5 picks for him. Hell no. So they're going to be where they are. Atlanta, that's a nice story, but they beat on bad teams, so they have first-round. Out of all them teams that's in the play-in the East, I'm scared of Philly.
I mean, the only reason I'm not 100% disagreeing with you is because I really like VJ Edgecombe.
Young boy,
I love that song. I love that.
He is very tough, yo. He is solid. And Denver is cool too. I think that depends on if Aaron Gordon is 100%, and then was Peyton Watson hurt? Because he
came back. He just coming back.
He just came back.
So Peyton, my bad for cutting you off, okay. Peyton Watson is the only guy that Denver had been hurt all season, bro. All season they didn't have injury. He's the only guy. They had an injury report, I think it was last week. He's the only guy that's on there. That's why I'm not fully. I love the Spurs. People know listen. Victor Wembanyama, number 1 in your programs, number 1 in your heart. I love that brother. I think he could be the best basketball player when he retires, if he doesn't get hurt, we've ever seen. Just because he affects the game in other ways that Mike, Kobe, LeBron, these guys just can't do it. They ain't got the size to do it like he can. But I love the Spurs. I love Stephon Castle. John, I'll tell you this right now. I take Stephon Castle over Amen Thompson in Houston. He better than Amen Thompson in Houston. I thought Amen Thompson was going to take that step. He ain't take that step yet. You feel me? I love the Spurs. But I just can't, bro. I ain't never seen a guy that can't jump on a phone book just dominate the NBA. Like, I just can't just like, I just can't just put him to the side. And with Aaron Gordon, they improved that bench. They went out and got Bruce Brown, Cam Johnson. They improved that roster, man. And then the one thing, they never had a backup center. That backup center was DeAndre Jordan. I love DeAndre, but DeAndre Jordan, you know, he more coaching now than playing. They got Valanciunas behind Jokic. He can actually sit down and like he can breathe. Like he can actually sit down and breathe in the game without having to be worked down the foot. That work forever. Denver and Philadelphia and those 2 conferences, man, they the teams I'm gonna keep my eye on. We know what we're gonna get from Boston. We know we're gonna get from San Antonio. We know we're gonna get from Houston. I mean, not Houston. But we know we're gonna get from them. They need a point guard. But we know we're gonna get from Oklahoma City. But Denver and Philly, I would not want to play them in the first round. Like I would not.
I can get that. You said you're a Duke fan?
Yeah, man. I'm suffering, brother.
I'm about to say, you all right?
I'm suffering, brother. We gonna get to that at the end of the show, bro. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm suffering, man. I ain't gonna lie. Kyle, listen, I'm gonna say this before I let you go, bro. You're a great point guard. You were a great point guard. Great at Calvert Hall. Great at St. Mary's. Assistant coach at St. Mary's. Shout out to DJ K. Wise. Hey, bro, listen. Whenever I need a point guard to host this show, I'm gonna call you. I could have called your ass last night to host this show today because I needed you, bro. I did not feel like doing it. And Kyle, I ain't turned my TV. This is the first time I had light in my crib in like 24 hours, brother. It's been that hard. It's that hard, brother. I'm telling you, man.
I can understand. That was a tough one, man.
Bro, tough one. And then you know your boy over here, he don't make it no better. So it's like, all right, like I'm getting bullied by people that I love the most, bullying the brother, man. So
if you're gonna dish it out all year about Duke, don't be afraid to take it when they blow it. So
yeah, I didn't know that they was going to have the 2 biggest blunders ever in my lifetime. You feel me? Like I didn't know that. So crazy.
But boys like the Ravens out there, but got a lead with 2 minutes left, still losing.
Chill. All right, chill. Now
see, I don't even listen. They say misery loves company. I don't even want it. I don't even want it. K Wise, man, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show, brother. We look forward to having you back on very soon, man. Keep up the great work. Wise Entertainment. Keep up the great work with that. Keep up the great work, DJ K Wise.
Wise Enterprise Entertainment, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate both of y'all. Proud of y'all. I've been watching the clips, man. It's cool to see y'all bantering back and forth, and also the guests that y'all come on have been contributing good stuff too. So definitely appreciate it. Thankful for y'all, and look forward to hopefully being on the show soon in the near future.
Yes, sir, man. We will definitely have you back, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong path behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link, shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want, they have. Once again, Wolves of War. Make sure you guys go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. As we always do, we end the show with college basketball. March Madness is in full effect. Let us here, all of us here at Highly Opinionated, congratulate the 4 teams that made the Final Four. UConn, they won the East region. Illinois, they won the South region. Arizona won the West region. And Michigan won the Midwest region. As you guys see on the screen, your Final Four dates. Final Four day and time. Number 2 seed UConn takes on number 3 seed Illinois. That game is Saturday at 6:09 Eastern on TBS and True TV. Illinois is favored by 2.5. Arizona and Michigan, they will be the game right after that. Michigan is favored by 1.5. JG, before we get to the topic at hand of March Madness, what we saw this past weekend, I want to spotlight these 2 games real quick. I'm looking forward to both games. UConn, dramatic comeback win against Duke. Illinois, I thought Illinois took out my pick out of that region. They took Houston out. Once they took out Houston, they played Iowa in the Elite Eight. It was a great Big Ten game, but Illinois just had too much for Iowa. I'm looking forward to that game. That Arizona Michigan game, I think this could be the best national semifinal game we had in the last 10. I think it could be up there with Duke and North Carolina. And just because Duke and North Carolina was a rivalry. When Arizona and Michigan play, it's going to be at least 8 pros on the court. At least 8 pros. And I'm being nice by saying it probably could be more. And I'm not even talking about overseas. I'm talking about in the NBA. I can't wait for that game. That game is following the Illinois UConn game. Both games will be on TBS and True TV. The games will be called by Iron Eagle, Grant Hill, Bill Raftery, and the great Tracy Wilson. JG, your thoughts on the Final Four?
Yeah, once again, shout out to the Big Ten, the best conference in basketball, the best conference in football this year, because you talk about they just won a national championship, and now they have a chance to do it in basketball as well. We got 2 Big Ten teams in the Final Four. Arizona and Michigan is going to be cinema. You could argue that you almost wish, and I'm not even trying to anywhere close put disrespect on UConn and Illinois. You almost wish that this was a national championship game. That's how good these 2 teams have been all season long. I was a little shaky on Michigan going into this tournament because I didn't love what I saw in the Big Ten tournament, especially in that championship game against Purdue. Arizona, in my opinion, I thought was the most consistent team. Even when they had injuries, you didn't see much of a drop-off because that starting 5 of theirs is one of, if not the best in college basketball. It's been that way all season long. They have depth. They have great coaching. They make perimeter shots. They defend and rebound with consistency. That's why Arizona is my national championship pick, and I'm going to stick with that. Obviously, I can't jump ship now. We're in the Final Four, but going into it, I did have Arizona winning it all. This Michigan team has in a way surprised me by how prolific they've been offensively and how consistent they've been. They dismantled a really, really good Tennessee team. Like they never had a chance.
Never from jump. Never had a chance.
It didn't look like they had a chance in the game at all. And Tennessee was playing really good basketball going into this. Like they they were coming in obviously feeling really confident. Michigan from the beginning just took their confidence and their hearts away from the beginning. They never looked back. And even when they were up, you saw Yaxel Lindeborg continue to play tough defense. Get steals in the open lane. Show some attitude. You got Mara, who is just, Mara is just like, I don't know. He's a tough cover, man. Like, just great rim protector, great passer for a big man of his size, and he's just an easy target for you to to throw lobs to. So you have a big man like that can run the floor as well and defend well. Lindeborg out there playing the power forward position, the versatility that he shows. Elliot Cadeau has been a very steady point guard for them. They just have weapons across the board, and this will be Arizona's best test. I still am going to lean with my championship pick and say Arizona's going to win, but it wouldn't shock me at all if Michigan went in there and beat Arizona. As for Illinois and UConn, two teams that I did not have going to the Final Four. They have outperformed and outshined what I thought they would be. Illinois has a guy by the name of Keaton Wagler. This guy is 6'5", 6'6", or whatever, can shoot the lights out of the ball. Great handle, great length. He's an NBA guard. You think about NBA guards today, a lot of them are 6'5", 6'6", two guards. They're 6'8", 6'9", or whatever now. Keaton Wagler will fit right in with the NBA. He's a guy that doesn't get as much shine as a prospect because we talk about the big guns, Aaron Peterson, DeBonta, Kingston Fleming's out over at Houston. But Keaton Wagler is going to be really special to watch. If you don't know who this kid is, you haven't watched him play yet, you're in for a treat because I think this guy is going to put on a show in the Final Four against a really good UConn team that obviously came off a really big win. But yeah, I'm excited for this Final Four. This is like the final big weekend for college basketball. Well, this is the final weekend for college basketball because obviously national championships coming, and then we got to wait till fall for to see it again. But it's gonna be really exciting. All these four teams, they got here going through adversity. They got here being very unexpected in a way. Well, not so much in Arizona and Michigan's per se, but more so with Illinois and UConn. So this is going to be an epic Final Four. It's the battle of the underdogs on one side, and then a battle of heavyweights that we knew coming in were going to be really, really special in the later game with Michigan and Arizona.
You said it best, brother. Arizona and Michigan, selfishly now, after watching what happened, you will want that to be the national championship. You feel me? You want that to be the last game that we see. I know low-key TBS, the NCAA committee, they wish it was that way too. Obviously, looking at how the bracket turned out. Like you said, improbable win for UConn. And I thought what Illinois did to Houston, we can always talk about Houston missing shots. That's fine. Illinois played good defense to make them miss shots. And I thought Brad Underwood, he'd never been to a Final Four. Truly amazing. Doing it in Champaign, Illinois. Definitely happy. Wagler, like you said, 6'5", 6'6", tall freshman, can handle the ball, shoot the ball, long, athletic, can play defense. I know it's like, boxing, you have a main card and you have an undercard. It seems like the undercard is Illinois and UConn, but that's going to be a hell of an undercard. And then the main card is Arizona and Michigan. So quickly, before we get to the next topic, who do you like in those two games? UConn or Illinois? And then I know you picked Arizona to beat Michigan. So
yeah, I'm going to stick with Arizona and beat Michigan. I got to show a little bit of Big Ten bias and go with Illinois. But UConn, UConn is just the thing that so concerns me with UConn is that they're such a jump shooting team. They live and die by it. And as I saw in the last matchup before the end result, my point was being proven. It was like you have an undersized big in Reed who plays big. Like, he's tremendous footwork, powerful. Definitely it can affect both ends of the floor. But UConn, the way that they play, and this is how they play all season long. They are such a jump shooting team. Jump shooting teams at this point in the season, you got to be able to have like a counter to that, or it can really catch up to you. Illinois plays big. There's no small ball there. They're a lot like Arizona, a lot like Michigan. They play big. They have a two big lineup, but they're versatile. They're not stiffs out there. The big some can do different things with the ball. And again, Keaton Wagler, I think an underrated player out here. I think that Illinois will win this game by a short margin, and I'm going to have Illinois versus Arizona, and Arizona will cut down the nets.
I'll make my national championship prediction actually when we actually see the game, but I'll make the prediction for the two games. I'm agreeing with you. I like Illinois to beat UConn. I think Illinois' length and athleticism will be a little bit too much for UConn. And Illinois, they have height. They don't have the girth that Duke had, but they have height. and I think that could be a factor for Terrence Reed. Play like a man amongst boys against Duke in the regional final. So I think Illinois will win that game, and I'm gonna take Arizona. I think Arizona it's a coin flip. Michigan and Arizona were the two best teams I thought I saw at a certain point in time during college basketball season. Now they obviously had losses, had hiccups. Arizona lost 2 in a row. Michigan had a couple losses. They lost that big marquee game in DC against Duke. So you can't really downgrade a team, because you lose that type of game. But I'm taking Arizona and I'm taking Illinois. Should be a great Final Four. So JG, in order for us to get to the Final Four, there had to be moments for us to get there. And I thought last year, I'd seen it all. Duke was up 64-55 against Houston. All they had to do, they could have just sat on the ball and won the game, and they didn't do it. And I said, man, nothing could top that moment. Roll it.
To go. Got to cut and run through the ball. They'll do better than this guy.
Get it into Boozer, back for Sarr, ahead. Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds. Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! With point 3! UConn goes in front!
God! Let's go! Let's go!
After that game, right? I said this earlier when we did the intro for the show. After that game, I cut everything off in my house. Everything. I just couldn't. And then I had jackasses texting me, hitting me up, right? They don't even like college basketball. They don't even like the sport. But bro, man, Duke lost, man. Damn, man, they fold. Like, bro, like, yo, like, you don't even like college basketball. Why are you texting me? Just leave me alone. Like, I'm an innocent bystander in this, bro.
Innocent is a strong word.
I'm innocent. I didn't have no, bro. If I'm guilty, we would have won the game. That would have never happened. I would have fouled the brother or something. He could have rolled the ball. If you watch the replay, him trying and let me do this because I thought Caden Boozer showed. I thought he showed what type of man he was after the game. Most people, when they have moments like that, they dip off. He answered every question. He's a young kid, freshman, and he played relatively well as the season progressed. He didn't live up, but he was kind of in his brother's shadow, and he played well, especially when Caleb Foster got hurt and he stepped into the line. Duke doesn't beat Siena without his effort, so that should be commended off rip. He just had a freshman moment at the worst time. That's all, and it happens. You feel me? It happens to the greats of the greats. But it's just so, as a Duke fan, it was just so heartbreaking because you like, bro, we finding new ways to lose. And again, I'm not trying to be mean to him. I'm not one of these guys that come in here and be like, you should do this or do that. Everybody has different paths and different ways of being successful. Bro, if he just hold on to the ball and he goes to the free throw line, at worst, he'll make 1 of 2. It's a 3-point game. Now that 3 is now we're going to overtime. The game still might be going on. Obviously, we know it wouldn't, but the game would still be playing. You would still have life. Usually in situations like this, you want to blame a coach. I can't even blame a coach. Like, I don't even know what what is he supposed to say? Like, you feel me? So now I will say about John Shire, and I said this to you when it happened. I saw Hubert Davis get fired. He went to a national championship game. I love Coach Shire. I love John Shire, and I think he should have time to develop because he's stepping in some big shoes. But I'm going to use the words of my co-host, what he tells me. The ACC not no good. What big game has John Shire won in the tournament? Not the regular season. Yeah, he beat Arizona. He beat Michigan. That's great. I'm talking about in the NCAA tournament. What big game has he won? The answer is none.
Yeah, so a few things. First off, yeah, shout out to Caden Boozer for staying in the locker room, going on camera and answering the questions because most guys flat out will hide. I know some guys that have had hidden. So I want to commend Caden Boozer for being a man and stepping up. And look, it was a rough moment because he was playing out. In my opinion, he was playing outstanding in this tournament. Spelling for Caleb Foster, a guy that was their leader, their point guard, their starting point guard and everything, the stabilizer, in my opinion. The reason why they beat St. John's, in my opinion, because of how great he was. He steps right in and, for the most part, up until that moment, played very well, in my opinion. Just, again, like you said, he had a rookie mistake at the worst possible time. When you face the press, the idea is to get the ball in the middle. Once you get the ball in the middle, your first instinct is to face the defense first. Be strong with the basketball, face the defense first. Then you either fake a pass, dribble around it, or fake the pass and pass it around. You never want to – first of all, you can't panic. In those moments, you flat out cannot panic because that's where the defense has you. And the other thing is jump passes. I can hear my coach in my ear right now. Jump passes are lethal. You are asking to turn the basketball over with jump passes. Never do that. Caden Boozer will learn from that. He will be back next year with a vengeance, and I expect him to have a really good season coming next year for Duke. He will be fine. It was a bad moment, at the worst possible time. I never appreciate fans going into the comments of athletes, giving them death threats and all that other BS. Like, it's not that serious. It's basketball. It's a game. You'll be fine. You'll make another parlay the next day. You'll be fine. So for all these people doing that, get a life. Figure out your life, please, because you're getting on an 18-year-old because he lost a basketball game. There's something wrong with you. I want to get out the way. And the other thing is with Duke, this never should have came down to that moment. The entire second half, the way that they played got them to this moment. They turned the ball over, gave UConn endless chances at the basket. Bad turnovers. They were out-rebounded.
Bad shot selection, too.
Yeah, when you get out-rebounded in a half, the team that does the better on the boards normally has a better chance to win. That's just kind of like the way it always goes. A lot of people don't talk about rebounding, but normally the team that out-rebounds you wins the game. Now, Duke actually in this instant actually did out-rebound UConn 34-28. But if you watch the second half, the boards were dominated by UConn. The turnovers came from Duke. They did everything they could to help them get back in the game. And we also have to give credit to Alex Caravan. Guys won a couple national championships already. He knows the moment. He's been there. Helter-skelter moment. Balls, defense is scattering everywhere. They somehow get the ball back. He gets it. Most players would have took that shot. They would have flat out just hoisted that shot right away. And Caravan, who hasn't shot well, nobody in UConn really shot all that well, had the presence of mind to see Mullins, the trail guy, because the defense, the last guy, and whenever it's a helter-skelter moment like that, whenever it's a fast break, the trail guy is one of the most dangerous guys. In this case, it was Mullins, who's an all-world shooter. He was trailing the play after picking up the basketball. So after Caravan sees that, he has a presence of mind saying, okay, wait, I got a shooter here trailing. They're kind of like getting back, worried about the paint. Mullins is wide open. And Isaiah Evans, look, great player. I call him J.R. Smith Jr. I think he has that kind of game. And I think he has a sixth man of the year coming soon in the NBA for him. I know that the shot is from the logo. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous range. You still got to get at least get a hand up against that.
Hand up, bro.
If a shooter sees you like this with your hands down, he feels disrespected. I'm like, absolutely. You think you want me to make this in your face? Say less. You never approach a shooter like this. Hands got to be up. And then look, Mullins drained a hell of a shot, man. They ain't shot well. That was his only three that he made all game long. And Mullins is a tremendous shooter. That was the only game he made all game long. So that was the one that went in. And then we see, just UConn celebrating. I took joy in what I saw watching Duke.
I know you did. The world did.
It's really all of America. I'll be honest. Everybody. We have a Duke fan. I have a Duke fan, who likes to talk all the time when they win. And talk, poo-poo on Maryland and stuff like that. He's in the group chat. As soon as that happened, we ambushed him. I was like, hey man, where are you? And then he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So that's normally the way it goes. But hey, Duke will be fine. They'll be back in the national championship picture next year. Karen Boozer will likely be going into the NBA, but Caden Boozer will be back. I expect Duke to reload and be back in the situation once again. But I do understand what you're saying about John Shire and Hubert Davis. Now, the only difference with Hubert Davis is North Carolina, they were favorites to win the national championship. You go from that to a year later not making the tournament. Things like that are kind of like the inconsistencies with Hubert Davis, which led to him losing his job. But he still at least had a win in the Final Four, which John Shire has not. And John Shire has clearly had the better teams in his tenure since he's taken over for Duke. Nobody on here is saying that John Shire can't coach and that he's not a great coach for Duke. Nobody's saying that. So let's get that out of the way. But there's a standard at Duke. If you coach for Duke University, there are standards. It's not good enough.
Again, you're in the moment. Like, to me, it's not about. Sometimes in life, it's not that you lost; it's how you lost. And if you keep losing the same way, let's go back to this. Last year they lost to Houston. They blew a lead. Let's look at the 3 losses they had this year. Texas Tech, they blew a lead. North Carolina, they blew a lead. But you can put that off as a rivalry. So I'll give them a pass for the rivalry because you could be up in a rival game, rival come back. Okay, fine. Because you're not more likely than not in a good rivalry, you're not sweeping the opponent. If both teams are good, you're not sweeping them. Not unless you're just absolutely 100% dominant. Kansas beat Arizona this year. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to sweep them. So, and then the loss on Sunday against UConn. Under John Shire, he has to learn this. His teams have to do a better job of closing. They can get up, but they can't close. And to me, that's not all on the coach, but I'm looking at the coach.
I want to put out the stat here that you didn't mention. 134 teams were as a number 1 seed. Whenever they had a 15-point lead, they won the game. Duke was the first team to do that, to lose the game being a number 1 seed with a 15-point lead. Crazy.
15-point lead. 15-point lead. 15-point lead. Couldn't hold the game. Now you see, and I'm not coming at the stat because the stat is needed. But see, that's why I couldn't watch TV after the game, because I was going to see useless stats like that. Like, they shouldn't have did. Bro, I'm just going to say this. I said this to you. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, and Jordan Schultz are football reporters. They report on the NFL. Never knew they liked college basketball. Man, you go look at their Twitter page, man. Go look at what they had up there on Sunday night. Around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Go look at what they posted up on their page. Come on, man. Like,
Adam Shepard's a Michigan guy, so he's definitely been paying attention.
No, I get that, but Michigan ain't got nothing to do with Duke. They're on the whole other side of the bracket. They got to play Arizona. They ain't got nothing to do with UConn or Illinois. You feel me? So again, that just shows you the way they lost. Again, man, it was just so heartbreaking. It was so heartbreaking. Then I had to deal with everybody, man. But again, when you talk and you wear the crown, you got to be here for the good moments. You got to be here for the bad moments. So after this episode, I'm gonna go to my grandmother's house and I'm gonna cry right in her minivan. You feel me? Get all my tears out. You feel me? So yeah.
And man, before we get out of here, Ross, can you show the video, please?
What video? Oh my God, I know he came with something. I know he came with some BS. Here you go. Oh yeah. That's how I felt, man. Like, oh my God, man. Yo, quick story. So, my son texted me this today. He texted me this like, Dad, look at this. I'm like, man, what you think? I ain't watched the game? Like, what you think? I ain't see this, man? Like, I already saw it, brother. Like, damn, man, Jesus Christ. Bro, it be your own people. Your own people be wanting that demise, man. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. I could use that music. I can cry to that music. You feel me? So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for watching episode 77. This is the hardest episode of my life that I got to get through. By the way, don't ask me next year for no bracket. I'm not doing no bracket. Until Duke win the national championship, I'm done with brackets. I'm out. No more. I'm finished. God damn, man. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Damn. That's sad ass music, man. That's that soap opera music too. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for watching episode 77. For the best producer, the best editor, the best guy here on Highly Opinionated. Shout out to my guy Ross. He puts in work. Ladies and gentlemen, the best co-host in the game, Duke hater himself. The man was, you would have thought he won the national championship. Duke lost. You feel me? I was happy celebrating.
Well, that was better than any national championship game I could have asked.
Oh my God!
To watch you guys lose, to watch the misery on your face. I need to see it again. I need to see it again. The misery on your face is that. It's like what gives me energy. Yes.
If I turn the TV on,
Yes.
and they still play. Oh my god! Oh my
Let's
god!
go.
Oh my god. You know what? Not to be funny about that image, they used the same image last year for this year. They used the same image last year for this year.
I guess Duke wanted to do an encore performance. What happened last year in the Final Four?
Yeah. No more.
They didn't want to wait to the Final Four. They said, "Let's do this now and get this out the way."
I'm glad they don't. My birthday later on in the week. Don't wait till the Final Four to mess up. Hell no. That was the worst last year. The worst.
I didn't even think about that. It
would have
been better if it wasn't your birthday.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Oh man, that would have been. Oh man, you
bro. I'm gonna say this and then I will get out of it. Last year was the worst. The worst. Because I had already prepared myself. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go home, watch Duke play Florida. Oh my god. And then I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Like, what is going on here? Man, listen. I'm going back to my AA meeting. Me and my AA therapist, we got a lot to talk about this week. So I ain't gonna hold y'all time up, ladies and gentlemen. You make sure you follow, you like, subscribe. My brother Club JG Podcast. You're doing great things over there. I am Maryland Josh. We will see you guys next week. We are out.
Great job, Duke.